We're all ready to go for the first race of the day here at Brands Hatch. 44 points the difference. That means that if Jason Plato is 5th or lower in this race, Fabrizio Giovanardi is the British Touring Car Champion. Time to join our commentators, Tim Harvey and first, Ben Edwards.
Thank you very much, Ted. The cars are indeed heading around the circuit on the first of their 2 warm-up laps. There's the onboard shot with Fabrizio Giovanardi, the man who could wrap up the title, as you say, in this first race of the day. What an absolutely glorious day we have here at Brands Hatch. It is stunning, and the stage is set for the final battle between these two. Jason Plato for Seat versus Fabrizio Giovanardi for Vauxhall. I say the final battle because we know that it's certainly Seat won't be a part of the party after the end of this year. Let's take a look at how they line up on the grid then. Stephen Jelley has taken his first ever pole position. It's the first for the team this year. Matt Jackson alongside him, though. He's a fast starter in the white BMW. Watch out for him. Turner and Matt Neal are on the second row. So Darren Turner, the fastest of the diesel-powered cars. Matt Neal is alongside him. Then behind them, we've got Gordon Shedden and Colin Turkington. Turkington, remember, leading in the independence points, but battling with Matt Jackson, who starts up front. Rob Collard, his best qualifying performance of the year in 7th, ahead of Adam Jones. Behind them, we've got Stephen Kane. Then it's Jason Plato starting 10th. And right behind him, of course, is Giovanardi in 11th, with his teammate Onslow Cole alongside. Then it's Tom Chilton and Andrew Jordan on row 7 of the grid. Row 8 sees Jason Hughes and Michael Doyle. On row number 9 behind them, we've got John George and Martin Bell. Then it's Alan Taylor and Mike Jordan, who had a broken part in the gearbox, so he didn't put in a time. Chris Stockton and Harry Volkart both failed to put in times in qualifying. And Erkut is at the back of the grid, and they've had to quickly go and get his sport hatch back. He was due to run in Ivan Muller's old championship-winning Astra Coupe, but unfortunately the engine blew in practice yesterday, and he's not been able to use that car. You're looking on board from Fabrizio Giovanardi at the moment as he gets ready to line up in 11th place. Tim, as I say, the stage is set. It's an absolutely perfect day for this championship decider.
Well, they say it's hard enough to win 1 championship, but it's even harder to win 2 on the trot. And if anything, for me, Giovanardi has driven better this year than even he did last year. And I'm sure as he sits there, needing only 9 points, he is full of confidence.
That's right. Plato needs Plato to finish 4th or lower in this for Giovanardi to take the title. Even if Plato were to win from where he is, way back on the grid there, 10th place on the grid, then 4th place for Giovanardi would be enough. So it's looking good for the Italian, and we're all set for this first race of the day, round 28 of the British Touring Car Championship. Lights out, away we go, and Stephen Jelley makes a great start from pole position. Matt Neal trying to squeeze down on Shedden and had to back out of it. Thankfully they didn't make contact. Matt Neal very slow away in the first of the Vauxhalls on the grid. The Giovanardi getting away. Jason Plato going around the outside of Paddock Bend. He's trying to go around Adam Jones. Hasn't quite finished it yet, but he's going to try and finish it as they come up the hill to the hairpin, but Jones is on his inside. Giovanardi's just tucked in behind that little group. Up front, Stephen Jelley leads. Matt Jackson pushing him down the hill into Graham Hill Bend. But Jason Plato is trying to pick his way through here and trying to find a way past cars without any damage being incurred. Behind him, in fact, it is Tom Onslow Cole and then Giovanardi. And then, no, it's Matt Neal, isn't it, back down there. And Giovanardi behind Adam Jones at the moment, a little bit of a lock-up. You can see Plato 2 cars ahead of Giovanardi at this stage, Tim.
Well, Plato's got one thing on his mind, and that is a charge to the front. But this is very much a BMW circuit. There's 2 across the line at the front. There were 5 in the top 10 of qualifying.
Matt Jackson's taken the lead. Matt Jackson takes it from Stephen Jelley. BMW's 1 and 2, but it's Matt Jackson in front. Jelley in second. Turner in third. Giovanardi in the gravel. Giovanardi's in the gravel at Paddock Hill Bend. He's got it back on. My goodness. He's scored points at every race this year, and suddenly he's off in the gravel. Jason Hughes and John George have made contact as well.
Well, that'll be a safety car for sure, but Giovanardi needs to regroup. He was trying to pass Adam Jones, and of course, he's finished every single race so far this year.
Chris Stockton got punted, and he was just behind Giovanardi at that point. Turner's come up. Stephen Jelley's lost 1. He's lost 2 places. Are we going to see the safety car? Yes, we are. And they're racing back to the line. They race to the line before they get picked up by the safety car, and it looks as though it's going to be Matt Jackson who leads as they cross the line from Turner in second. Gordon Shedden now third, Stephen Jelley fourth, Rob Collard in fifth. then Turkington in 6th ahead of Stephen Kane. Now Jason Plato is in 8th place. Where is Giovanardi? He's all the way down in 14th position.
Well, that was potentially the disaster that could have ended Giovanardi's chances if he gets taken out in an accident that means he takes no further part in the meeting, and that's not impossible. Last year, in the multiple accident triggered by Matt Jackson, the current leader of this race, Matt Neal, and took no further part in the race after that. So it could have been, but Giovanardi keeps his miraculous record going of still managing to get out of trouble. He's still on the track.
Let's take a look at some of the replays here, Tim. This is the change of the lead as Stephen Jackson there. Matt Jackson just up behind Stephen Jelly.
Yeah, that's going through clearways. That's going through clearways. And clearly at this stage, Matt Jackson's got his tyres up to temperature a lot quicker because he manages to pull out of clearways on the inside. And this was Giovanardi going off. Oh, he gets a slide. Well, we didn't see perhaps the start of it, but he and Adam Jones both running wide.
Yeah, and there was Tom Chilton behind him. Did he get a tap from Tom Chilton? Yeah, it looks like somebody tapped him, didn't they?
Yeah, I think it may have been he was up the inside of Adam Jones, and Adam Jones was closing the door on him. And that's what led to the spin. Maybe they both did ever so well to keep going. I'm not even... Yeah, even Adam Jones keeps going as well.
But in the background, John George and Jason Hughes tangled in the avoidance. So we had various cars all over the place. Now, as it stands at the moment, if they were to finish where they are right now, Giovanardi would have 261 points, Jason Plato would have 220, and that would be enough for Giovanardi to still take the title, because Plato's still got to get further up the order here in order to be able to try and keep this championship going into race 2 and race 3 at Brands Hatch. Ready for the restart, the safety car's coming in, so we're all set now for the race to get underway, and it's Matt Jackson, absolutely breathtaking once again from the youngster. Matt Jackson leading, Turner in 2nd, Gordon Shedden in the Team Halfords car 3rd, Stephen Jelly 4th, and then coming through is Rob Collard, Turkington down there. Now watch for Giovanardi. He's got to do something over the next few laps. He's okay at the moment, but he can't, of course, depend on that, because presumably Plato's going to pick up some more places here.
Yeah, I'm sure Plato will. I mean, Matt Jackson is absolutely flying, and don't forget, he is very keen on trying to win this independence title. He's just slightly behind Turkington, so he's going about it in the best possible way.
Problems for Jelly on that back straight. He slowed right down, and several cars all going past him. I don't know what happened to him there, but Stephen Jelly really slowing down, and the pole sitter in trouble.
Oh, what a great shape. He wanted to end his season on a real high, and his pole position was quite fantastic, so what a shame for Stephen Jelly.
On board with Jason Plato. Now he's sitting in behind Stephen Kane at the moment, and this is the battle for 7th place. He's not that close to the BMW as they come across the line, so a little bit more pace to find here. Meanwhile, Giovanardi still down in 13th place, and with Adam Jones breathing down his neck as well, so that's interesting. But Plato not closing as quickly as I thought he might here.
Well, there are no big long straights here. There's nowhere really where the Seat Diesel can use its extra horsepower, and the agility of some of the other cars through the tighter, slower corners is helping them achieve better lap times. And a good shout out here for the 2 Motorbase cars. It's the local track for the Motorbase team, only a mile down the road, and Collard in 4th and Kane in 6th, doing a great job.
Indeed, so Jason Plato actually has got to watch out from Matt Neal right behind him, and another Vauxhall, of course. And we all know that Matt Neal and Jason Plato have had their incidents over the years, but Plato now is much closer to the back of Stephen Kane's car. He's tucked in behind the BMW. Look how close he is. You can see it as he tucks in there up towards Paddock Hill Bend. 130 miles an hour on the approach here, on the brakes, into that daunting right-hander, down the dip, bottoming out there. But again, the BMW very quick through Paddock Hill Bend, and Plato wasn't able to try and get alongside him on the approach to the hairpin.
No, don't forget Plato is also carrying 2nd maximum ballast, 36 kilos, so he's doing a good job here. He is being handicapped by that weight ballast.
Now, further back, let me tell you that Giovanardi's just lost another place. Look at Plato. He as Stephen
Kane and Turkington side by side, and I think Kane's got through.
Yeah, he has. He's got past. So he's got past the Team RAC BMW. And here comes Plato. Plato on the grass, and in the background, Chilton getting very out of shape. Contact, I don't know if there was with the Vauxhall, perhaps Monclo Cole. Meanwhile, Giovanardi is down in 14th place now. So Giovanardi really struggling in this race. It could be the first race this year that he's not in the points. Here comes Plato now, trying to get past Colin Turkington, a winner here earlier this season. Turkington, but Plato a bit slow through Paddock.
Well, Plato taking the tight line, the Seat very good over the curbs, and Jason Plato using the inside curve, which is quite an aggressive one at Paddock, to try and shorten the line here. But it's got this real end of term feel about it, this first race of the last meeting, with everybody going for broke.
It is great stuff, isn't it? And in the background. I've just seen Jones get past Michael Doyle, who's been running well. Doyle is now the one ahead of Fabrizio Giovanardi, by the way, but Giovanardi's still way outside the point. Plato needs to pick off a few more here, though. He's got to try and get in the top 4 to have any chance of keeping this championship alive. As he comes through out of clearways this time, try and close that gap on Colin Turkington ahead, and he's still got the Vauxhall of Matt Neal behind him.
Yeah, time's very similar at the front. Matt Jackson just a fraction slower than Darren Turner, but not a great deal. But the fastest lap of the race goes on that lap to Stephen Kane, the 5th place BMW.
That's impressive stuff. Stephen Kane, the Northern Irishman, in his first season of touring cars, of course. They've had a couple of good results recently, the local motor-based team, and he's running very strongly in this race, no doubt about it, in 5th place. But Giovanardi all the way down in 14th place and unable to make any progress. That's a huge surprise. He's always in the mix, but he's always been able to move forwards. Maybe there was damage done. I'm sure that front splitter, the area around the lower front bumper, is not good. Patricia there on the middle of the shot, his wife Patricia keeping an eye on what's going on here, but I think Giovanardi's struggling a bit in this one, Tim.
Yeah, there was contact on the right rear. It may have actually bent one of the rear toe arms to make you can see that the wheel arch is off on as well on the left rear, so he certainly had some damage on there. It clearly isn't Andy. He's quick into paddock. He's followed Michael Doyle, but Michael Doyle gets a good run out, and Giovanardi can't challenge on the braking into Druids.
So, just to remind you, it's still Matt Jackson leading this race. Darren Turner in the Seat is 2nd. Gordon Shedden is 3rd under pressure from Rob Collard, and then Stephen Kane. So we've got the 2 motor-based cars up there in the top 5, which is very, very impressive. As Michael Doyle ahead of Giovanardi runs over the curb on the exit. Giovanardi will be a little wary of that. Michael Doyle, a real young superstar in a way. He's run this family-run team. He's going to be passed, though, by Giovanardi, and he does a good job there, does Michael Doyle. He was going to fight, but he wasn't going to do anything silly.
This is what Giovanardi's going to do now. He knows he's had a problem. He's just going to gradually try and pick up some places, maybe take advantage of a couple of instants in front to get some points. That's the way Giovanardi races, and he'll be the coolest man here. His team, Vauxhall VX Racing, they'll be very stressed out, but I bet you one thing, inside that car, Gio is cool as anything.
Yeah, he is so laid back about it all, but there's the nervousness in the camp. They wanted to get this one sorted in this race. It could still happen because Plato's not made quite enough progress. Just a quick note from the pits that Stephen Jelly's problem was it got stuck in 5th gear, and that's why he couldn't go any further.
Poor Stephen. I hope we see more of him in this championship because he's just getting to grips with it, and I really hope we see some more of him.
So race leader, the white BMW of Matt Jackson. In 2nd place, the Seat of Darren Turner. Look at this battle for 3rd now as Rob Collard goes on the attack, and he's down the inside of Gordon Shedden, and he's through. Good move there from Rob Collard. I tell you what, Stephen Kane's not far behind him. Shedden's trying to come back up the inside. Here's this good stuff from the Scot as well, and Stephen Kane right behind. Look at the sandwich as they come around the hairpin. Wonderful racing, but now Collard's got the inner line, and Kane's going to try and follow. No, he can't do it. So Collard does move up into 3rd, 4th now for Shedden, and 5th for Stephen Kane.
Well, a great battle there, and a real peach of an overtake from Collard there. It's not easy to pass up the inside into paddock because it's a blind approach and the car goes light on the inside. We just managed to get it done.
Yeah, he's a bit wide turning into clearways, but actually he seemed to get away with it, and it's now Shedden under attack once again from Stephen Kane, and Kane now trying to line him up for Paddock Hill Bend, but I doubt if Gordon's going to see it happen twice. Is he going to leave the door open? No, he doesn't.
Well, in fairness, I mean, Shedden didn't defend the inside, and it looked like Kane had a good run onto that straight, and didn't quite pull the move that. He's going looking up the inside. There's a little bit of a push. That'll probably get the job done. Very nice indeed. These 2 motor-based cars, well, have they found this performance? Dave Bartram must be leaping up and down with excitement because he loves to race and he loves to race well and nowhere else than Brands Hatch. A fantastic performance.
And good stuff from Rob Collard. This is a potential podium finish for him with his teammate right behind him. And Rob Collard, a winner here at Brands Hatch in the past in an MG. But let's see what he can do in the BMW. Now, Plato under attack here. This is for his 7th place from Matt Neal. And, of course, Vauxhall will try and put that Seat back a place because it all helps Giovanardi. So Matt Neal here is going to go for it. You can bet on it.
Yeah, and I don't need to remind you, there's no love lost, particularly between Jason Plato and Matt Neal from many previous skirmishes. So Matt Neal with nothing to lose. Matt Neal and Giovanardi come back, as you saw in the introduction, from Australia, racing the big V8 supercars down at Phillip Island. And Matt actually admitted to me yesterday finding it quite hard to readapt to the 2-litre class of racing. The car's so different.
Yeah, it must be quite hard, and all the travelling as well, and time difference, but that's what they take on. We're on lap 14 out of 26 at the moment. The lap distance increased slightly by the safety car being out.
Well, interesting little aside, on the travelling to Australia, Giovanardi travelled in business class and Matt Neal travelled in cattle class, so that says something about the pecking order, doesn't it?
I don't know how he folded himself up into economy class, but never mind. This is the battle we're watching at the moment between Shedden and Turkington for 5th place, and and it's side-by-side stuff. Turkington has now got up the inside, and Shedden just seems to be going backwards here. What's happening here for Gordon Shedden?
Well, it seems like the BMWs are able to hold their tyres together a little bit longer. It is very hot, don't forget, so the front-wheel drive cars may be suffering with their tyres a little bit more. Certainly a BMW circuit. Anyway, we've seen that all the way through, but yeah, that was a mistake by Shedden. We thought Chilton would be up there. He was ever so quick in the free practices, and then in qualifying he had one of the shock absorbers explode and he couldn't do a good time, but we thought if he can get up there he could be one of the front-wheel drive cars to challenge the BMWs.
Now these two guys are teammates. You've got Rob Collard running 3rd here, and then Stephen Kane right behind him. Now how hard is Kane going to try to get past him, or will they be under some team orders here?
Well, Dave Bartram said if they take each other off he'll sit on them, and that's a threat that no one would want to see carried out. So they're very close. Stephen got past Shedden at that corner with a little run, but he's looking down the inside now.
And meanwhile, Jason Plato is trying to get past. Oh, and Collard's gone wide, and Kane is through on the back straight. Yeah. Collard ran wide out of Graham Hill Bend.
Well, we saw the start of that, and Kane was just looking down, and whether he put enough pressure on the Collard to get through, I don't know, but they're very close behind Darren Turner in front, so Kane wants to keep his progress going.
Yeah, absolutely on board with Jason Plato meanwhile, and he's got a chance of getting past Gordon Shedden, who seems to be struggling with the Team Halfords Honda. It's not working as it was in the early stages of this race, and Plato now really getting close. He's going to attack surely as we come up towards Paddock Hill Bend. Has a little think about going for the inside, decides against it. Matt Neal and Tom Chilton still right behind him, and then it's Onslow Cole. He's running in 10th place, but the attack is still on. Plato having a little think about it. In the background, Onslow Cole thinking about getting past Tom Chilton. And this is great stuff, but at the moment it's still Giovanardi looking to win this title. Unless Plato moves a bit further up, he won't have enough points to keep the championship alive. He's got to get past Shedden, and then ideally get past another couple as well. He really needs to get into 4th place here, Plato. At the moment he's down in 7th.
I tell you what, Plato's giving it everything. That car is struggling on its tyres. He's got 2nd biggest success ballast, and he's still lapping really well. And Darren Turner in the sister set with no weight is in 2nd place, but he's no quicker at all. And Plato's up the inside as we come across the start-finish line.
Yeah, this is an opportunity. He's through, and it's a fairly straightforward one in the end there for Jason Plato. He takes the place from Gordon Shedden, so he's into 6th place, and Shedden now under attack from Matt Neal as well. Matt Neal follows through, and there's Tom Chilton, his teammate, and Tom's not taking any prisoners. Squeezes right past Shedden at the same time.
Yeah, well, we said Tom was going to be quick, and Shedden clearly got a pace problem here. This is on board with Plato alongside. The door is wide open. Plato's got enough speed down the straight to get the job done nice and early without any panic late braking.
So up front, meanwhile, Matt Jackson is still leading this race, but the battle for 2nd is really hotting up now. The battle for 2nd, watch it, Darren Turner under threat from Stephen Kane in the BMW, then Rob Collard, and chasing him is Colin Turkington, as Turkington's car really seems to be working now in the latter stages of this race. So Darren Turner finds his mirrors somewhat filled with that BMW of Stephen Kane. Well, how big a risk? Oh, there's contact, and Kane's alongside, he's going to take it. He's into 2nd.
Well, that's Kane's perfect place, isn't it? There's on board inside with the Motorbase crew, Patrick de Groot, the engineer there. He's only 4 foot nothing, but he's jumping up and down like a 6 foot.
But it might change more, because look at this, Rob Collard in the background there. He might be able to get past Darren Turner, and then Colin Turkington as well. And Turkington, remember, wants to try and get past these other BMWs, because they're scoring points in the Independence Championship, and Matt Jackson's leading this race and looking for maximum points in that, as well as maybe taking Turkington's 3rd place in the overall championship. So lots of changes potential here, and we're on board with Colin Turkington as he attacks coming into Paddock Hill Bend. But at the moment, Rob Collard just managing to keep him behind. Identical cars, basically these, of course, heading up the hill into Druids, and Collard just keeping the middle of the road, and there's no space for Turkington.
Yeah, good defensive line, that, just enough to cover the inside and force Turkington to potentially put two wheels on the grass should he try and go up the inside, but not enough to compromise his speed into the corner.
BMWs are 1, 2, 4 and 5 in this race. This track really does seem to be suiting them. The only car that's up there and stopping them dominating is the Seat Diesel of Darren Turner. Oh, a little bit wide there from Collard. That's going to give Turkington an opportunity as they come on the straight here.
Yeah, it looks like Rob Collard's got a little bit of an understeer problem. Can't get the car in tight, but this is Neil and Plato. Neil's still behind. He's got past Shedden as well and back on the rear of Plato.
But Plato's in 6th, and 6th is not enough. Fastest lap in this race still belongs to Stephen Kane, so that's where the extra point is going. Plato's not going to get it, where it could have been crucial. They're not going to get fastest laps now with just a few laps in this race remaining, and Plato's still defending busily from Matt Neal right behind. Remember, it's Matt Jackson still leading this race by some 3.3 seconds. Very, very impressive. On board with Plato, though, as Matt Neal breathes all over the rear bumper of that Seat Diesel. Remember, Jason took a diesel-powered first ever podium here at Brands Hatch earlier in the year. Oh, and he's good into clearways. Matt Neal always very dangerous into clearways. He has a tremendously good line, tight line in, but nothing he can quite do with it at the moment.
No, but into clearways or Druids is going to be where Matt can attack. He certainly won't be able to attack into paddock at the moment, and he's just looking for an opportunity. Look at him on the brakes there, really close up. Look, the car twitching around. Matt Neal getting a bit of oversteer. All the cars over that rumble strip on the exit and perilously close to the gravel trap.
Giovanardi still in 14th place. He's still not been able to move up. In fact, he's been passed by Mike Jordan recently, who started at the back of the grid. Andrew Jordan's running in 10th place. Mike Jordan is now in 13th from the back of the grid. And there's the view in the Vauxhall camp, because they know he can still do it here, because Jason Plato has not made up as much ground as he needs to in order to keep this championship alive. So at the moment, it's still looking good for Giovanardi to take back-to-back titles. There we are on board. He's lost that place to Mike Jordan recently, but Mike running in 13th position behind Giovanardi. It's then Michael Doyle, but he's just a little bit behind. Well, not far behind. He's only a couple of car lengths behind. So he's still got to keep an eye on what's going on.
Yeah, the team obviously will be on the radio to Giovanardi, just keeping him advised of Plato's progress. And he's clearly got a hobble car. Is that Turner's drop back? Turner's got a problem. Now that looks, I don't know what happened, it looks suspiciously like the engine problem they had before.
Oh, contact between Matt Neal and Darren Turner down the hill. They just about get away with it. I thought that was going to end in tears. But as you say, Darren Turner, although now the car's working again.
Yeah, that was a team tactic. He was clearly just dropping back to let Plato through for extra points and then having to fight back.
Okay, and that nearly did end in tears. Yeah, that's right. But Turner's got himself back in front of Matt Neal. And what does that mean about Jason Plato? Well, it means he's now in 5th place, so he's behind all the BMWs that are leading this race. Scott Dennis keeping an eye on what's going on. Can their tactics help here? Maybe. There it was, Turner backing off.
Yeah, he's backing off, waiting for Plato, and trying to desperately get back inside there and stop Neal getting through. It worked out quite well, because Neal then had to go around the outside, which is the longer, harder route.
So that puts Plato into 5th place now. That's 6 points on offer. Now, that's not going to be enough unless maybe somebody else goes off ahead of him or something else happens in this race. So certainly Seat doing everything they can to try and keep this going, but they need a little bit of luck to go their way as well, because Matt Jackson leads this race, Stephen Kane is in 2nd, Collard in 3rd and Turkington in 4th. Race leader across the line. That's 24 laps completed. We're on to lap 25. There's the 2nd place car, Stephen Kane. 3rd good battle here between Rob Collard and Colin Turkington, and then in 5th place is Plato, 6th is Turner, then it's Matt Neal, chased by Chilton, also Cole, Andrew Jordan, there's Adam Jones, then it's Gordon Shedd, dropped well back, Mike Jordan, there is Giovanardi, still with pressure on him, but in 14th place.
Yeah, none of the BMWs are going to let Plato through, and there's a big gap from Colin Turkington to just over 2 seconds back to Plato, so barring an incident in front, that's as far as Plato's going to get.
That's right, and I don't think it's going to be enough. You're on board here with Colin Turkington through the left-hander at Surtees, up into clearways. The final podium spot is what these guys are fighting over, so there's quite a bit at honour, and also important points for Turkington, because he's fourth in this race, whereas his big rival Matt Jackson is leading it, and Turkington really needs the points here. It's fairly desperate for him to try and get past Collard, and he might try it into Paddock, but no, Collard defends it well. Well, this is what Plato wants to see. He'd love to see the two of them, of course, take each other off, and then that would change things for the championship.
Certainly put it back on, and Neil has got past Turner.
Yes, he has. Matt Neal has gained that place, so he's into 6th position now, ahead of Darren Turner. But we're on the final lap here, and it's running out of time for Sayat and for Jason Plato. This is the replay of Matt Neal and Darren Turner. There was a little light contact, and Matt Neal slipped through on the inside.
Yeah, Matt Neal's favourite overtaking place.
Here we go, though. Matt Jackson is coming out of Clearways for the final time. It's going to be victory for Matt Jackson, another win, back-to-back. He won the wet race at Silverstone. Second place goes to Stephen Kane. Watch them across the line now. It's Collard third. Fourth place goes to Colin Turkington. Fifth place goes to Jason Plato. It's not enough for Plato. Fabrizio Giovanardi is going to take the title, finishing in 14th place. 14th position for Giovanardi. First race he's not been in the points, but he's taken the title.
Well, how ironic is that? The first race he's not in the points, and it's the race he wins the championship. But that's how championships are made. He's done a brilliant job all year. Congratulations to him and the VXR team. We'll see if we can get a word with him presently. I'm sure he'll be talking to the team at the moment. But Plato, I have to say, drove absolutely valiantly in that race.
Yeah, great stuff. There's Plato. He's driven hard. He's done whatever he could. The team played it as best they could, but those non-finishes earlier in the season. Let's see if we can talk to Fabrizio. This is Ben in the commentary box. Many congratulations, Fabrizio. You are double champion. Well done.
Thank you very much indeed.
Tell us about that incident early in the race. What happened there, and how damaged was the car?
I had the contact in the beginning, and I think some stone comes in the radiator, and then I had engine trouble. Yeah, anyway, I couldn't do nothing, but it's important to win.
Well, I'm sure you'll be going for it in the next race. Many congratulations.
Thank you. Well, a great race, and it was always going to be hard for Plato, especially at this track that doesn't suit his car as well. The BMWs maximising their advantage, but a valiant attempt and a worthy runner-up and a gracious runner-up, Jason Plato.
Yeah, absolutely. But I tell you what, the independence battle is certainly still on, and the battle for third place in the championship between Matt Jackson and Colin Turkington. But the overall title has gone the way of Fabrizio Giovanardi. And in this 50th anniversary year, you know, he's done it. He's got the back-to-back titles. Matt Neal did it a couple of years ago, but not that many drivers, Tim, have actually done the double.
No, it's very hard to do, and especially in such a competitive environment. And celebrating 50 years of the BTCC here at Brands Hatch, where it was settled in the very first year between Tommy Sopworth and Jack Sears. No rerun necessary this year. Giovanardi is the champion.
He is indeed, and for the Triple Eight team and for all at Vauxhall, this is a special moment. They've worked so hard, and it's been reliability that has been so crucial to this success. Scoring points in every race, bar the one he won the championship, and isn't that ironic?
It is hugely ironic, but it is a credit to VX Racing that they've built a solid, reliable and fast car that has finished every race at least, and a brilliant performance by the whole team.
No, fantastic stuff for Giovanardi. The second title in a way, his 8th touring car title of his career. What a remarkable career this guy has had. Absolutely fantastic, and well, what can we say?
Well, I want some of that pasta. That's winning pasta, isn't it? I don't know if I've got time before my Porsche race, but congratulations to him.
Very many congratulations to Fabrizio Giovanardi, champion of 2008.
Yes, Matt Jackson takes the victory in race 1 of BTCC Finals Day. But we have our answer. It's Fabrizio Giovanardi, champion of 2008, back-to-back champions for the Italian from Sassuolo near Modena, a famous racing city in Italy. And we will hear from him in a few moments' time. But really, this is Guy, who's had an incredible season, to be champion once again. Welcome back to Brands Hatch. Fabrizio Giovanardi has done it. He is the 2008 HiQ MSA British Touring Car Champion for the second year in succession in the Vauxhall Vectra. And he hugs all his team, Mike Nicholson, Ian Harrison and everybody there. They should be justifiably proud of themselves. This is confirmation of the result of race 1 here at Brands Hatch. A win for Matt Jackson in the BMW. Let's not forget him. A superb performance by him. Stephen Kane in the other BMW was second, with Rob Collard in a third BMW, making it a Beamer top 3 on the podium. Let's take a look at the championship. We still have 2 races to go, remember, but we do have confirmation. There are only 34 points remaining, and the simple truth is that Jason Plato has run out of points to get. There's the gap, 261 plays 223. Fabrizio Giovanardi, champion again, as we say. Matt Jackson moves up to third, Colin Turkington fourth, and Matt Neal, who had a very eventful race with the Seat, in fifth. Well, here he is, the 2008 British Touring Car champion, and he's looking very pleased with himself. Your emotions, Fabrizio, right now?
Yeah, obviously we've done good effort all through the year, the Vauxhall, the team, and it was a great job. I think they give me a reliable car, so it's why we finished all the races. Not just today, it's a really unusual race. It's not the best way to finish, but anyway, we won, so we can ask anything more.
You won the championship. You haven't won that many races. Have you ever won a championship by not winning so many races? Jason's won more races than you.
Yeah, it's true. In the end of the season, they came really strong, I think. He won a lot, but, you know, I said before, I had a reliable car, and we scored all the points. We understood immediately in the beginning of the season there was more tough championship with more cars, with more strong drivers, so we had to say just keep going, take points, and when it's time to win, win, and when it's time to wait. Is why.
Yeah, and were you ever worried in the middle of the summer from Snetterton onwards when the Seat Diesel had the fastest car? Were you ever worried that maybe it wouldn't happen this year?
Yeah, I've been honestly, I've been worried until Silverstone, because in the first race he scored the pole position, the fastest lap he won, and they finished 5, 6. So I've lost 11 points. So in that way, I could come inside the Brands Hatch with really few points. So I was worried. Keep concentration, try to do the maximum, and here we are.
Okay, and just very briefly, what happened? We heard you talking on the commentary link, but what happened in that moment coming down into Paddock Hill?
There was a confusion, a lot of cars fighting for the position, and the contact with the Seats, the black Seats, and I think even another car hit me in the back, so we had the contact finishing the gravel. So after that I crashed, I broken the bumpers, and my race is almost finished.
Okay, Fabrizio, many congratulations. We will let you go to the podium where your public is waiting to see you. Well, you can enjoy the Beamers on the podium, but I'm sure they'll be there to give you a special bottle of champagne anyway. I hope so. Yes, it's time for a drink, I think, for you. Thank you very much. Well done. Well, a worthy champion in Fabrizio Giovanardi, and even his rivals have only good things to say about him.
He's got a massive amount of self-belief, but he's a great team player, so you know he'll work with you, he'll try and help you as you help him, and he's got a great knack of pulling a rabbit out of a hat. You know, at any point of the race he always comes up with a good result.
He's a class act, you know, he is the benchmark at the moment, and you know, I guess he doesn't do anything drastic, you know, he's just sort of steadily quick all the time.
Oh, he is, you know, he's world class. He hasn't won the amount of championships he has without being a bit special. And you know, this year is obviously a lot of the time he's had 45 kilos on for leading the championship, and he still pulls the time out of the bag, and you're like, no, that's good. So no, he's definitely a world champion.
Some of the angles he can dance that car out on the way into the apex. That's for me his biggest thing. His speed from turning to apex. Absolutely sensational car control, and knows when to push, knows when to be a bit aggressive, and knows when to score the points, doesn't he?
He's sort of incredibly precise with everything in his feedback and his sort of mechanical background as well. It's been fantastic for me to learn from him and sort of pick up the things that he notes while he's out there.
Ciao Bella, Giovanardi Fabrizio, I'm the world champion, Bella.
He's a nice guy, you know, he's done a good job. He's consistent, keeps his head down, stays out of trouble pretty much most of the time, and he's a very complete driver in my eyes.
Without a doubt, he's a creme de la creme driver.
It's knowing when to back out of the situations and when not to, and how far to push. And I think you know, Fabrizio's the master at that.
He's merciless. He will just give it 120%. You're giving it 110, you'd think you're giving it dead, and he'll just go and put you. He's bloody good.
If you place your car in the wrong position, he'll be up the inside. Vice versa, if he's in the wrong position, I'll go up the inside. But he's very rarely in the wrong position.
Any champion's a worthy champion. They've got more points than anybody else. So anyone that says he's not, you know, obviously I don't think that's correct.
We're all set for the second touring car race of the day round Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, but unfortunately it'll be without our newly crowned champion Fabrizio Giovanardi after an engine problem has kept him in the pits. We can go over to our commentators Tim Harvey and Ben Edwards, and Ben, he'll be counting his lucky chickens that didn't happen in the first race, but Plato's still not in contention.
I know, it's incredible. After the season that Fabrizio Giovanardi's had, he's finished every race in the points, and now it's all gone wrong. And if Plato had got one place better in that first race today, Tim, we could still be on for the championship.
It just shows how fickle the world of motorsport is, and it couldn't have come at a better time for Giovanardi, having already wrapped it up. Imagine the feelings in that pit if this had been before the first race.
Oh, I tell you what, that would have been amazing. So they've done just enough. And now we've got a second race on our hands with Matt Jackson leading them round with maximum ballast. First time he's ever won the first race of the day. He has won a second race though, so he has had maximum ballast on before, but it's still going to be quite a tough ask, I think, for Matt Jackson to get this sorted from pole position with the maximum ballast. On board with him now.
Yeah, I expect to see Jason Plato go a lot quicker this race, because he was actually very strong even with second place ballast on board. Of course, his car is lighter now. Those in front of him are all much heavier, so apart from the start with BMWs will still shoot off well, I think Jason is very strong in this race and nothing to lose.
There's Fabrizio, and well, it's a bit strange not to see him in the car and getting ready to go, but the engine overheated earlier, as we heard, as a result of going through the gravel, and they put a new one in and it wouldn't fire up. So here's the grid. It's Matt Jackson and Stephen Kane on the front row of the grid, then Rob Collard in the second of the motor-based cars alongside Colin Turkington for Team RAC on the second row. Then it's Plato, as you say, could well be a threat from fifth place, but he's got the top Vauxhall of Matt Neal alongside him. Then it's Darren Turner in the second set with Tom Chilton. Team Halford's going well in that race. He had to start from further down. Then it's Onslow Cole and Andrew Jordan. They're 9th and 10th on the grid. And remember, some lot will be reverse grid for race 3. Mike Jordan a bit further back, but not too far down. You've got Adam Jones just on the inside of him. Gordon Shedden and Fabrizio Giovanardi. Shedden had a problem with the setup on that carb, which made him drop back through the field. Michael Doyle and Harry Volkard are next up on the grid. They're followed by Martin Bell and Erkut. They're on row number 9 of the grid. And then as we keep going back, it's Alan Taylor and Chris Stockton. They're on row 10. Row 11, former pole sitter Stephen Jelly had that gearbox problem earlier. He's got Jason Hughes in the MG with him. And then at the back, it's John George. Absolutely glorious weather conditions still here. We're a fantastic crowd too at Brands Hatch this afternoon. It's a real joy to be here. Tim, again, many congratulations on your victory in the Porsches just a little while ago. Our champion up here, but we've seen Fabrizio Giovanardi take a title as well. Now it's about race wins, isn't it?
It is now, but Giovanardi's getting paid for standing in the garage now with no pressure. That's quite nice, isn't it? But
yeah.
End of season spirit and plenty of racing still to go. We have race 2 and 3 from Brands.
Matt Jackson on pole position then, and alongside him another BMW. You've got top 4 cars are all rear-wheel drive, so you would guess they've all got the same kind of advantage. But which of them's going to be best off the line? Pole position can be tricky here at Brands Hatch. Is it going to be Jackson? Is it going to be Stephen Kane from the outside of that front row? We're about to find out as the engine revs begin to build. Wait for those lights. Lights out, away we go. It's Jackson versus Kane. Kane knocks so well off the line, and his teammate Rob Collard slips up the inside to take second place. Great start from Collard. He is quick off the line, but as you said, Plato has started well. He's up to 4th. Is he already? No, that's yes, coming through. It is Plato in 4th, and right with him is Matt Neal. So it was a poor start from Turkington. He's the one that's lost out. The Team RAC BMW's lost a couple of places.
Yeah, unusual that. And Collard, a really good starter. He was always a great starter in the front-wheel drive cars, but he's taken that skill over to rear-wheel drive. Jackson's trying to make the escape. And Kane,
we've got a Vauxhall on
very sideways.
Just saved it, didn't he? That's where he had a big accident earlier this year, and he just got out of it.
Well, that was immediately what I was thinking as they came alongside side by side with Adam Jones. I was thinking, don't go left. Oh, he's fighting back straight away.
Yeah, he is having a go, but can he get through? I don't think so. But that was a great piece of recovery from Tom Onslow Cole. Just about managed to save it. Meanwhile, Mike Jordan attacking Michael Doyle just further back, but it's Jackson who leads. Collard in second place. Stephen Kane is in third. There you are. Top 3 are all BMWs. But then it's Jason Plato on a charge. Plato now moving to the outside on the approach to the hairpin. Behind him is Matt Neal. Then it's Colin Turkington. Tom Chilton's up there as well in that group, followed by Darren Turner, and Andrew Jordan's at the back of that sort of lead group, if you like.
Yeah, the weight differential between Plato and Kane in front of him now should enable Plato to be very aggressive down the main straight.
on board with Jason Plato. Then he has Andrew Jordan right behind him, but he's desperately trying to find a way past Stephen Kane, rather Matt Neal right behind him, of course. It's Matt Neal at the Vauxhall, but Matt Neal not able to quite get on terms with him. Bit of a slide there, wasn't there?
Well, it's an interesting shot. The rear-wheel drive car gets initially a good bite, but now watch the Seat close him down at the second part of the straight. And in fact, he's having to defend a little bit there.
Tom Onslow Cole under threat. Adam Jones is right there as well, and so is Gordon Shen on the inside of Jones. Jones gets squeezed out a little bit. Shen should have the line up into the hairpin now, and he should be through, but Jones is not one to give up. He always fights back, can't quite do it on the exit of the hairpin, and they're still side by side as they come down the hill, but it's Shen with the advantage.
Yeah, good racing that through Paddock Hill Bend. The car's just on 110 miles an hour on the approach there. Very, very quick corner.
Matt Jackson still our race leader, 1.5 seconds. He has a lead by and set fastest lap last time around, so it's looking good for Matt Jackson to try and take the double victory. He's never done that before. And meanwhile, Mike Jordan and Michael Doyle having a good old dice just outside the points. There's the race leader. Open up the gap over Collard, Kane, and then Jason Plato sitting there in 4th place, desperate to get some podiums here for Seat on their final outing in the British Touring Car Championship. He's got Matt Neal directly behind him, and then Colin Turkington, who went better in the latter stages of the first race, but they did make some changes to that car to try and make it quicker from the off. He didn't get off the line too well, and so now he's got to work at it again.
Yeah, Plato looking back on board with Plato. He's got a little gap there as he challenges hard to try and get past Kane. It's Neal that's behind him, as he was all the way through the first race. They didn't make any contact then, fortunately, but if they carry on running this close, it's only a matter of time, perhaps.
Yeah, early stages of this race. They're coming around to complete lap 4 and go on to the 5th lap here out of 24. Across the line, the leader has a just under 2-second gap over Rob Collard in 2nd, and then Stephen Kane. Then you've got Jason Plato, who we're riding with. Matt Neal directly behind. Look how Plato uses that little bit of extra curbing on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend, tries to stay out of the gravel trap. Somebody kicked up a bit of dust, but they got away with it. Didn't actually end up in the gravel trap. And look how back close it is from 2nd, 3rd, the 2 motor-based teammates there, 2nd and 3rd, and then the rest of them all together with Plato next trying to challenge.
Well, this is a similar pattern to that we saw in the first race, where Stephen Kane was the quickest car on the track throughout the race, actually. He did get past Collard in that first race, just went through at Druids. We'll see if he can get through again.
Indeed, Jackson, of course, heading for the win in the Independents, and at the moment Turkington is 6th overall in the race, but 4th Independent. So again, that gap will close up if it stays this way, and Turkington's lead on that Independents Championship looking a little more tenuous. Still in front at the moment, but it's going to be tougher to stay in front as you see that battle for 2nd and 3rd. We're on board with Turkington at the moment. He's in 6th place behind Matt Neal.
Yeah, the very warm conditions here, so the cars all getting the tyres up to temperature nice and quickly, which is partly why we've seen the BMWs go off so strong at the start of the race. But the front-wheel drive cars, talking to the guys, they are working the tyres a little bit harder, but after about lap 6, and we're on lap 5 now, they start to go off a little bit.
And of course there's more weight on some of those lead cars. Motor-based guys aren't used to carrying this much ballast, nor is Matt Jackson normally used to carrying quite this much, but he's leading the race very comfortably. Brilliant lead with over 2 seconds now over these guys. Still Collard, then Kane for the local team that's based literally just a couple of miles down the road from this Brands Hatch circuit. But Jason Plato still dangerous in their mirrors, followed by Matt Neal. And look at the 2 teammates, Stephen Kane getting more and more aggressive now.
Well, that's exactly how he got past last time. Just gave a little push in the first race at Druids and got himself up the inside. But the gang is all starting to pack up behind this group. Certainly Collard and Kane are struggling to hold them behind, and I think that if Kane could get past, he might be a little bit quicker.
Good on board here with Jason Plato. Looking down the side of the car, you can see the front wheels turning as he comes through clearways. He's trying to feed the power in progressively so he doesn't end up with too much understeer, and now building the speed up onto the straight. But as you said earlier, Tim, this straight's not really long enough for the Seat Diesel to stretch its legs and show the kind of advantage that we have seen at some of the circuits this year. He has to follow the BMWs down the hill through paddock, followed by Matt Neal, double champion himself, of course, and Only the one win for Matt Neal this year in Vauxhall. Vauxhall, of course, have won that title, but Matt would love to finish off the season with some strong results here. He's top Vauxhall in this race at the moment, but that's only in 5th place.
Yeah, Matt's had some bad luck, and he's also played the team game at times as well this year, but he's certainly been the quickest Vauxhall man when we've had the wet races. He's been quite dynamic. But Brands, he's actually the most successful driver at Brands, and has more race wins. And look at him getting up the inside, using the curbs, and certainly quite a lot of setup changes going on in the pits after the experience of the first race. The guys, because of the hot conditions and the wear on the front tyres of the front-wheel drive cars, just setting the cars up a little bit looser, and here into paddock is where you'll see the back ends moving about quite a bit on the front-wheel drive cars.
Absolutely, hopping over the curb there, Matt Neal, and then again on the exit of the corner. As you say, he's had wonderful success here at Brands. In fact, both these guys have. Jason Plato and Matt Neal, I think, have won something like 14 races here at Brands Hatch over the past 5 years between them, which is pretty remarkable. Remember, we often have 2 meetings a season at Brands, so some 6 races around this Indy circuit this year. And Plato and Matt Neal know the place like the back of their hands, and here is Matt Neal's favourite overtaking place, but he's not quite close enough to Plato as they turn in.
Yeah, interestingly, Plato's actually taking the Matt Neal line there, and I think he's doing that very early in the race and very deliberately to show Matt that there isn't an opportunity to pass there. Normally Jason would be a little bit wider, but I think he knows it's Matt's favourite place, and by defending there a little bit, he doesn't give Matt the opportunity.
Yeah, and in fact that allowed Turkington to close up to the back of Matt Neal on that last lap. Just briefly, Jackson still easing away up front. There's no sign of this group catching our race leader currently. Matt Jackson is totally in command at the moment in the BMW, leading this race, and really has been another impressive showing once again from the youngster driving for the BMW dealer team UK. But here we are, Ford Turkington very close to the back of that Vauxhall Vectra. The Vectra's been such a strong car, hasn't it? And there's Matt Neal, his favourite move up the inside, and he's through, is he? He's got past Plato. Well, we said he likes going up the inside there, and Plato's lost 2 places in 1.
Yeah, well, he might lose another as well. Has Plato got a problem? I think Plato's got a problem.
That's what it is.
Well, I alluded to it perhaps in the first race wrongly when Darren Turner pulled back, but that looks like, well, that's a terminal problem. I wonder if it is that engine problem.
Well, you wonder, don't you? It was so sudden there, and it may have already started just as Matt Neal went on the attacks. He didn't seem to defend it as vigorously as he normally would have. It means that we've still got Jackson, Collard and Kane, but Matt Neal now in 4th place, and that's the battle of the 4th between Matt Neal in the Vauxhall and Colin Turkington in the Team RAC BMW. Right behind them is Tom Chilton, still going well in this race, but not really threatening so far. Behind them is Darren Turner, and then it's Andrew Jordan in 8th, Tom Onslow Cole in 9th, and 10th place Gordon Shedden, with Plato really completely out of it. He's coasting down the hill at the moment on the Exeter Druids.
Yeah, Matt Jackson has the fastest lap of the race already, early on, in fact on lap 2, as you'd expect, and he's really maintaining this 2.5 second gap very comfortably.
Yeah, it's amazingly settled at the moment. We gather that Plato has a problem with his steering. Now that's an interesting one.
Well, it could possibly be the hydraulic steering pump, which in that car with a lot of weight on the front end, and it is going to make it undrivable without the pump working.
Well, it's very disappointing for SEAT. 4 non-finishes this year for a variety of reasons, not all mechanical, but they have had that misfire, which was the cause of 2 effectively non-finishes. He's been involved in 1 accident that took him out as well, and he had an exclusion as well. Turkington at the moment is still just leading in the independence points, but it's really coming down. Just 3 points if they finish where they are now. Look, the gap between them will be only 3 points for the independence win with 1 race to go. That's going to be fun.
It is, and with the reverse grid, we have no idea where everyone will be shuffled round to, but it's safe to assume if they finish like this, obviously Turkington will start in front of Jackson.
Yeah, that's right. So Turkington still may be able to get this independence win. Oh, and a little bit of a slide from Matt Neal just in front of him there. Matt Neal lost a bit of pace as a result of it, and Turkington tried to take advantage, but Matt was busy to close the door on him, and there was no way through. And the front-wheel drive cars can turn in much tighter into clearways generally than the rear-wheel drive cars, which maybe then get a bit of an advantage here.
Yeah, as that road drops away, they go over that crest. Obviously the front-wheel drive cars, the front wheels go light, and they lose a little bit of traction, and the car pushes out wide, whereas it's the opposite effect with the rear-wheel drive. The weight goes on the rear wheels as they go down the dip, and they can get really good traction there.
Matt Jackson still our race leader. The gap still well over 2 seconds, nearly 3 seconds in fact, as we watch this little group. Matt Neal, Colin Turkington fighting for 4th place down the hill. They've got quite a useful margin over Tom Chilton, who's still behind them. And then the guys who are just outside the points at the moment, Mike Jordan, Adam Jones, Stephen Jelly, they're running 11th, 12th and 13th. In fact, Adam Jones and Stephen Jelly having quite a good little dice at the moment for 12th, but it's strange to see them both outside the points currently. We're watching that race for 3rd here now. Matt Neal's closed back up to the rear of Stephen Kane. Interesting how Stephen Kane's dropped away a bit from Rob Collard over the last couple of laps.
Yeah, no, going back to Stephen Jelly, don't forget he was the pole man and didn't finish the first race, so he started from the back of the grid and has driven very well to get up to 13th already.
That's right, still pushing hard at the moment, but we're on board with his teammate here, Turkington, up towards the hairpin. Again, they're both closer to the back of Stephen Kane's car. It's going to be tough to get through. Just taking a look at this, we talked about Jones and Stephen Jelly having a bit of a dice. Look at this. This happened a moment ago.
Yeah, was Jones had actually outbraked himself a fraction and was in wide, and then was obviously trying to close the door that Jelly was already looking into, and Matt Neal looking up the inside of Stephen Kane. Kane very sensibly goes out wide and will now use the extra traction to try and hopefully get across in front. I don't know that he will. Can he shut the door? The Vauxhall's a very strong car on the straight.
He was very careful. Remember, he had a big shunt against the pit wall earlier this year with Andrew Jordan, so he was careful not to shut the door, but Neal's through, and Turkington's going to follow. Turkington's going to squeeze past as well, and you have to wonder, that accident that Stephen Kane had on the top straight made him very cautious there on shutting the door on Matt Neal.
Yeah, there was actually a point where he was slightly in front, and he probably could have come over, but I'm sure you're right, he thought better of it, bearing in mind the accident he had before. And I did Rob Collard a disservice, because Rob has actually maintained his pace really well and stayed in front of Kane, and in fact he's got a little gap on that group.
Well, Turkington, that will help Turkington. It's taken him past another independent. You're looking at the replay from on board Turkington's point of view, and he was just put himself in the right place at the right time, didn't he?
Yeah, well, once Matt Neal was up the inside, there was no way that Stephen Kane could shut the door, so it was relatively simple for Turkington to stay up behind, and Kane would be out on the marbles.
Now, these guys are obviously going well at the moment. Can they do the same to Rob Collard? They're beginning to reel him in.
Quite possibly, quite possibly. They are lighter, don't forget. And now we've got Janie down in the pits with Jason Plato.
Jason, such disappointment for you. Can you explain what happened? Do you know something to do with the steering, I understand, from Scott Dennis?
Yeah, we think the rack has been damaged when Matt came in the side of me. So yeah, it's game over. Can't steer the beast.
Is it something that can be fixed for the final race?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, well, I think it is a steering rack. We'll have to put a new one on. But I mean, they can do that. But yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? You know, when Matt Neal overtakes anyone, he can't do it without gliding with them. You know, the corner was his. I gave him.
Oh, look at this! Fabrizio turned out with a coffee.
No. You know, you give the lad room. He got past me. I gave him room, and he just can't.
We can have a coffee now.
Yeah.
Fabrizio and they're having a chat now.
Money we can, huh? You know, you reckon? it's bloody fantastic.
Fantastic that you two guys vying for the championship are the only ones sitting out. Is that what you're saying? It's fantastic.
We will enjoy the third race side by side.
Oh yeah, that's a point.
Yeah. Mega.
Thanks very much, guys.
Great stuff, Janie. Thanks very much. And what's happening up in the lead? Well, no change at the moment, but Collard has been caught by Matt Neal, and you've got Turkington then right behind them. And there was, Collard's beginning to look a little wayward. Remember, he's got a lot of weight on board that car, and I think it's beginning to tell now.
Oh, definitely. Latter stages of the race, it's really starting to hurt, and Matt Neal's been the fastest car on the track, with Turkington tracking his every move, and clearly he's got more grip there. You can see he can hold a tighter line everywhere. Collard's having to defend. Matt's going to be pushing and shoving and trying to get through. Jason not missing an opportunity to have a little dig at Matt there. And what great spirit between Jason and Giovanardi. And ironic that they will be starting the last race off the back.
Yeah, that could be great fun. But this is definitely looking like a difficult race now for Collard. The weight on the two motor-based BMWs, they never really carried this much weight before. And Matt Neal's going to go for his move up the inside. Classic Matt Neal, he's up the inside. Has he done it? Not quite. Gets sideways. Banging, banging. I wouldn't want to start. Remember, these two had a huge accident together going into Paddock Hill Bend a few years ago. They don't want to repeat that one. And look, Turkington's going to try and do what he did before and sneak down the inside as well. He's done it. Perfect.
Yeah. Carbon copy manoeuvre. You could almost put your money, your mortgage on Matt Neal sliding up the inside there at Clearways, and a carbon copy of the move they made on Stephen Kane a few laps earlier.
Those motor-based cars definitely struggling to carry the ballast, but they're still in with a shout of scoring useful points. But let's just take a look at this again, Tim.
Yeah, Matt Neal cuts the first curve very sharply to get a good run across the second one, up the inside, little bit of contact. Rob Collard has to steer wide to avoid a spin, and Matt Neal's cleanly up the inside with Turkington straight there behind him.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a classic Matt Neal manoeuvre there. It always amazes me he can get it turned in so tight on the inside there. And, team enjoying this at the moment, aren't they? Vauxhall are having a struggle, but they've got the man into second place here, is Matt Neal. So Giovanardi might not be in this one, but they're still going to get a good result out of it. And he is now going to try and close up to Matt Jackson, but Matt Jackson's got such a big lead with only a few laps to go. He should be in pretty good shape. Andrew Jordan in the John Guest car there. He's running pretty well. He's in 8th place at the moment, sitting behind the diesel Seat of Darren Turner.
Yeah, Andrew Jordan, don't forget, still only 19, really a young driver, and he's impressed immensely this year. I think he has a big future in touring cars.
And don't forget, he's in an ideal position again on the reverse grid, and he's very good at getting pole positions for the reverse grid. He's had it the last 2 events at Alton, before that, Alton and Knock Hill. He ended up on pole position for those 2, so he could do it again here.
Yeah, and got a podium as well, so he's not likely to go backwards in a hurry if he is up there in the 3rd race.
No, that's right, so we'll keep an eye on that. But Matt Neal and Colin Turkington now running 2nd and 3rd. And what has that done to the independence points? Well, Matt Jackson, of course, is still leading, but Turkington is now 2nd independent in this race, and that means that he's now opened up the lead a little bit more in the Independence Championship. So it will all depend on the final race. He's got it up to 5 points, the gap between the two of them now, and that means it'll all come down to the final race to see who wins the Independence Championship. That's going to be one to keep an eye on.
It is, big bragging points as well.
Actually, it's a bit more than 5, sorry, it's 7 points.
Yeah, it's showing 7 points there, but it is major bragging rights as you go into the winter, negotiating sponsorships and everything else, if you can have carried off that Independence title.
Definitely. Matt Neal, though, holding on for 2nd place at the moment. And Matt Jackson, they have caught Matt Jackson a bit over the last lap, but they are running out of time. 2 laps to go. But interestingly, they took, about half a second out of Matt Jackson's lead last time around. So the lead BMW is definitely struggling with that maximum ballast.
Yeah, that's inside the team, Matt Jackson's team. They're all holding their breath. 2 wins on the same day, be a first for Matt, and thoroughly deserved as well. But I think he's just bringing his car home.
I think so. He should have enough of an advantage. He's in.
Puncture for Turner. Left front puncture.
All the favourites are in trouble today. Yeah. What's going on?
Now that's something you don't often see at Brands, but it's to do with the heat. It's to do with the pressure on the tyres, maybe a little bit too much camber, I don't know, but it's very extreme conditions, and the left front is the one that's taking all the damage around here.
Yeah, indeed. A little battle here.
But Kane getting close to Collard.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's that little inter-team rivalry that's going on between Rob Collard and Stephen Kane is still going on, and this is for 4th place. And Kane, they made contact. You don't want to do that, boys. You do not want Dave Bartram's anger on you, and so you certainly don't want him sitting on you, which is what he threatened earlier if they took each other off. And catching them both is Tom Chilton, so he might take advantage of this in the closing moments. But we are on the last lap here, and it does look as though Matt Jackson is going to take victory. He's had enough of an advantage, and Matt Jackson surely is going to take the win. Here he is, and it's going to be Matt Jackson's 5th win of the season. That's the same number of wins as Giovanardi's taken this year. What a fantastic end to the year. Matt Jackson is having another victory, his 2nd win at Brands today, double win. 2nd place goes to Matt Neal, Turkington is 3rd, Collard just beats Kane, Chilton finishes in 6th, Andrew Jordan finishes in 7th ahead of Onslow Cole in the end. And let's just take a look back at Matt Jackson there crossing the line, 2 out of 2.
Right, he loves his racing, he's a real racer. someone that gets stuck in, is passionate about his team, he's passionate about his car, and he's passionate about racing, and that's fantastic to see.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, that's actually a hat-trick of wins for him, because he won the last race at Silverstone, didn't he? The previous round of the series. Now he's won the opening 2 races here today. So it's a remarkable run that Matt Jackson's on. And what it also does is it puts him into 3rd place in the overall championship. So if we've got Giovinardi as champion, Plato as 2nd, but Matt Jackson is going to finish 3rd overall.
Yeah, well, this is just what we want to see as well, with trying to tempt BMW in next year with an official factory team would be absolutely fantastic, and this is exactly what we want to see at the last race to hopefully bring them in.
Of course, Jason Plato didn't score. I'll tell you what, it's still a chance he could take 2nd in the championship. That's the other thing to watch out for if Jason has problems later. So Matt Jackson wins the race, Matt Neal 2nd, Turkington is 3rd, and then Collard and Kane, the 2 motor-based cars, Tom Chilton 6th, Andrew Dorden 7th, ahead of Onso Cole, with Shedden and Mike Jordan completing the top 10. So father and son Jordans both into the top 10 there, and scoring useful points. Now, just outside the points, Adam Jones and Stephen Jelly, who had a wonderful dice all the way through, and look, they were separated by less than a 10th really at the end of it. Harry Volkard and Jason Hughes finished 13th and 14th, John George on 15th, then Martin Bell, Erkut, but then we had few who didn't make it to the end, I'm afraid. Darren Turner, Michael Doyle, Jason Plato, and of course Fabrizio Giovinardi never even made the start.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Tim. And Matt Jackson makes it 2 out of 2. A fantastic performance from him and from that private team, the private BMW dealer team UK. Embarrassing not only the rest of the field, but also the better funded and the semi-works team from West Surrey Racing and Team RAC. But Matt Jackson has shown that the BMW rear-wheel drive still have the pace to win here at Brands Hatch. And that's crucial for him also in his independent drivers' standings. We'll hear from Matt in a couple of minutes' time. Welcome back to Brands Hatch, where it's been 2 out of 2, a double victory for Matt Jackson in the BMW. Likes to flag, quite straightforward. That's not going to help you. Top of your bonnet there. But let's have a quick look at the drivers' standings as the Formula Renaults warm up on the track. These are the overall standings. Giovinardi, of course, the champion already. Plato, who didn't manage to score in that, but Matt Jackson, he's the big mover, up to 3rd, 12 points clear now of Colin Turkington, and also doing very well in the independent standings. Right, down to Janie in the pits.
Thanks very much, Ted. I've got Colin Turkington here. Colin, we talked about the changes you made before that race. They obviously had quite some effect.
Yeah, they were very good. You know, we really went back to what we had maybe at the start of the year, you know, when we were more competitive. So you know, you develop the car through the year and think it's better, but sometimes it's better to go back to what you had. You know, I won a race here at the first meeting, so you know, I'm pleased that the car was much more competitive in that race, and you know, hopefully I can give a good show on again in the 3rd race.
And of course, you've still got to keep your hands on the title. It's been yours for 12 months, independence, and you want to retain that.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's important for me and Team RAC, and you know, the gap is down now. I'm not sure how many it is, but you know, with the reverse grid, there'll be a few more independents through to the front. So, but you know, hopefully I have a good enough car, I think, to come through again. You know, with another 27 kilos, so it's okay.
Okay, thanks very much, Colin. Going to move on from Mr. T to Matt Neal. Matt, Clearways, that's your place, isn't it?
Always has been, always will, I suppose. No, it's just the car felt great that race. We made a few small changes to from the first race. It felt great in the first race, but the ambience gone up, so we tried to tweak it, and I got a little bit more push in it, but I think we just got less than everybody else. You know, I had to pick and choose my moments because Colin was waking there like a vulture to pounce at any time, so I was mindful where he was.
And you just described it to me as a mate's rub with Jason Plato.
I think I had a mate's rub with about 2 or 3 going through there, but yeah, it's nothing malicious, obviously.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Janie.
Okay, good stuff. Nothing malicious, he says, from Matt Neal. Okay, let's take a quick look at the independent standings, and this is what the man next to me, Matt Jackson, is interested in. The way they do it is slightly different from the way they do the normal driver standings. It means that, well, it's not quite the lead that he wants. Colin Turkington on 311, Matt Jackson on 304, Adam Jones out of it now on 253. But let's talk to the race winner, double race winner so far, Matt Jackson. Just explain how you're not actually ahead of Turkington in the independent standings, first of all.
I think Mr. Gow's probably the best one to explain that. It's you know, we're ahead of him in the main championship, but second in the independents. It's a funny point scoring system, but you know, it's still mathematically possible. We can do it in the next race, so fingers crossed we can get there.
And that would be massive for your not with all the greatest respect, small private team.
Absolutely, yeah. Obviously, last year was our first year of BTCC, so the team is still relatively new. It's 2 years old, so we're very, very young, up against the likes of RAC, who have been around for, 1981, I think, so as long as I've been around. So it makes it very tough, but, so far so good.
Okay. Matt, very well done. As part of your prize for winning, as well as the champagne that you're about to go, you have to make the draw for the third race of the day. These are the numbers to look out for. Number 6, Tom Chilton. Number 7, Andrew Jordan. 8, Tom Onslow Cole in the Vauxhall. 9 will mean Gordon Shedden is on pole. And 10 is Mike Jordan. Okay, we've got Ellie here from Motorbase, and also wearing the Help for Heroes, which is the charity of the day T-shirt. Very nice, Ellie. Excellent action there. Matt, if you'd like to go and pick one. Feels like the FA Cup, doesn't it? What have you got? Number 8. And it's dropped it. Careful where you look down there. Okay, so that's Tom Onslow Cole. There we go. We can hide it up. Number 8, Tom Onslow Cole is on pole position for the third race of the day. And we can hear from Ben Edwards with the rest of the grid. It's the final race of the year in the Haiku MSA British Touring Car Championship. Giovanardi is champion, so we're racing for third place Matt Jackson and Colin Turkington, separated by 12 points. And in the Independence Championship, at the top of that, it's also 12 points between those two guys, but the other way around. Turkington leading Jackson. Let's get straight back to our commentators, Tim Harvey and Ben Edwards.
Thank you, Ted. Well, let's have a quick look at the lineup on the grid for this one. Then it's Onslow Cole and Jordan on the front row. That's Andrew Jordan. Tom Chilton and Stephen Kane are on the second row of the grid, so you've got the Honda versus the BMW. Then Rob Collard and Colin Turkington on row number 3, and then behind them the heavyweights of Matt Neal and Matt Jackson, because they're carrying more ballast than anyone. Behind them, Gordon Shedden and Mike Jordan. He starts 10th. Adam Jones starts in 11th place with Stephen Jelly alongside, and then we've got Harry Volkard and Jason Hughes. John George and Martin Bell are together on row 8 of the grid. Row 9 sees Erkut and Darren Turner, who had a puncture earlier on. Michael Doyle finds an interesting bedfellow on his row. He's got Jason Plato next to him, and then it's Fabrizio Giovanardi on row 11 with Alan Taylor. And at the very back, it's Chris Stockton on his own. And Giovanardi's already been saying to his guys on the radio, I don't think I've ever seen so many cars in front of me.
No, bizarre circumstance with the top 2 in the championship actually starting the last race of the year on the back, and how ironic would it be if Giovanardi scored no points this weekend, having scored in every race prior?
Absolutely right. Well, here we are then, the very final, the 30th round of the 2008 Haiku MSA British Touring Car Championship at a sunny Brands Hatch with a fabulous crowd. We're all set for the final race of the season. Away we go, and off pole position Tom Onslow Cole, but here comes Tom Chilton. Tom Chilton's made a brilliant start, so has Stephen Kane up into 3rd, but it's Chilton that leads into Paddock Hill Bend. Well, this could be a story indeed. He was very determined talking to Janie on the grid, and just look at him go now. Up the hill he goes, and it's Chilton leading with Onslow Cole in 2nd, and then Stephen Kane.
Well, Chilton was quickest in one of the pre-practice, 3rd in one of the others. His meeting has been compromised by poor qualifying due to a broken suspension damper, but now he's got a great opportunity. Zero ballast out in front.
And behind, there's a bit of bumping and boring going on. Gordon Shedden ends up on the grass, but he gets it back on. And at the back, Plato and Giovanardi have not made huge progress yet. We've got a big shot. John George has rolled that car on the approach into Surtees, and that is going to be the safety car called for.
That's a big accident there. Hope John George is okay. He's had quite a few incidents already this year, and we do hope he's okay.
So the cars coming through Paddock Hill Bend, they will have to slow it up when they see the safety car on circuit. Now, interestingly, I'm not sure if the safety car is going to be able to pick them up on the back pit entrance, because that's really what they need. They're coming down to that area, the back straight, and they are going to have to back off. Now, the team's radios have been working hard, and I think you'll see them slow down. Tom Chilton leads them into that area, and they're just coming into that area where the car of John George is on its side still, and thankfully everybody is slowing down. That's good news.
Yeah, we've seen some accidents in the past as the cars bunch up along this bottom straight quite often on the first lap. Somebody makes a bad exit from the Graham Hill bend and tries to protect, and very often you get a clash like that. Of course, that's where Tom Onslow Cole had his big accidents at the first meeting of the year. The marshals there, the excellent marshals, very, very quickly. You can see the skid marks there off into the wall. Look at the accident, the damage to the barrier, the huge accident, damage to the Armco barrier. And obviously the marshals and the safety crews, the finest anywhere you could find in the world probably here at Brands Hatch as well, so I'm sure they'll be taking good care of John.
Yes, that's right. Tom Chilton leads the field around behind the safety car. That was a very, very good getaway by Chilton ahead of Tom Onslow-Cole and Stephen Kane. Andrew Jordan, who was on the outside of the front row, lost out a little bit. He's in 4th place at the moment, and that's how he sits as they come around the hairpin, with Pollard in 5th and then Jackson 6th. Now let's take a look back at some of that first lap here, Tim.
Yeah, this is Giovanardi's on board, and already you can see the bunching in front. John George's car is 2 cars in front. He moves back across the front of Plato's car and gets turned into the wall in exactly the same way that Onslow-Cole did earlier in the year. That he's moved across to the left and then he moves back to the right.
Yeah.
Oh dear, and he goes into the wall at fairly unabated speed.
Yeah, and look at the way the energy of the car is dissipated as it rolls over and onto its side. Another view of it here, Tim.
Yeah, in fact, Plato was looking to get down the
inside.
It's
Turner. It was Turner,
I think.
Was it
Turner? Yeah, you're right. I apologise. It was... Oh, that's a big roll, big roll. The impact being absorbed by the car, of course, but I think that was a case of the 2 of them moving in the same direction at the same time.
Absolutely right, and that's a very nasty-looking accident, but the marshals are there, as you say. Everybody dealing with that as well as possible. We're just trying to see which of the Seats it was. I think it was Darren Turner, but we'll have to recheck that. So it's going to take a little while to sort that problem out. The safety car is out on circuit. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back with the action from Brands Hatch. Welcome back to Brands Hatch, and the good news is John George is out of the car that we saw crashing out in the early part of this 3rd and final race of the day. That was John just a few moments ago, out of the car, walking away, being taken away by the medics here, and that's always such a relief to see that sight, Tim.
Yeah, Paul Trafford, the permanent doctor, the Toka doctor, and his crew obviously doing a good job on site there very quickly, and absolutely no sign of any kind of injury at all to John, apart from a dented prize and even worse dented car. But look, let's get down to Janie in the pits.
Yep, I've got Trevor Humphreys with me, who's a team manager for John. You were in contact with the doctor pretty much straight away.
Yeah, Tokas were really good. They let us know straight away. The minute they thought he was fine, we knew straight away. So yeah, it's big shock.
Such a relief, especially when you see a crash as big as that. I mean, it does look pretty bad.
Yes, I was standing down the back at the time, and it was just horrendous,
yeah.
You know. But you know, in fairness, the cars are so safe. Toka makes sure of that. So yes, thank God he's all right.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
So yeah, that's the good news, is that John is okay. The rest of the cars, of course, are following around behind the safety car at the moment, so it's going to take a few minutes before we get that car removed. Let's just take another look at it, Tim.
Well, it's the usual bunching across the down the Cooper Straight, and there's a movement between John George and Turner. They're both going across the road at the same time, unfortunately, and wow, there's a huge impact there. John George into the wall on the right at approximately 120 miles an hour, and then a multiple roll. This is on board with Plato, of course, starting from the back. That's his teammate Turner in front. A good start. Now he's probably going to go to the outside here, round the outside. A little bit of movement there, down the inside of they're trying to pass Urquhart and Martin Bell in the 2 sunshine.co.uk Astra Sport hatches. Turner gets to, there's one touch there between Turner and George, so there was already some contact between them at the top of Druids.
Yeah,
Plato gets through, and then of course that continues with Turner and George onto the bottom straight.
Yeah, that explains how Plato was ahead. So this was the start. Tom Chilton made a really very, very good start.
A cracking start, absolutely got it nailed, and went through there beautifully.
Yeah, that was fantastic from Tom. Tom Onslow-Cole got stuck from his pole position, didn't he? As we see the cars coming around, the safety car is still out there. Its lights are still on, so I think we're going to see at least another lap or so before we get the race up and running. So I think we're going to see it maybe coming in next time around. 9 laps have been completed. We're going on to lap number 10 now. We will get a few laps added to the race distance, but of course these all do count. They are all ticking away, and the lights are off now, so we will be racing next time around. It's Tom Chilton leading from Tom Onslow-Cole in the Vauxhall. Look at the damage to the barrier there.
Yeah, That's a massive impact, and that car will have to be a souvenir piece, I think, for John George, because there won't be much to salvage out of it. But the race is going to be back on at the end of this lap. Great potential battle between Chilton and Onslow Cole, neither with any weight in the car, and of course they're both very keen to end this season on a high. The driver take a huge sort of feeling of goodwill through the winter if they've won the last race.
Here we go then, the safety car's about to head into the pits, and already look how close Tom Onslow Cole is. The back to Tom Chilton. He's going to try and make a good restart, but Chilton is quick out of clearways, and we're racing once again with Chilton in the Team Halfords Honda, looking for his own first win in 3 years. Is Chilton. It's been a long time, but we've got a long way to go in this race for him to hold on to it. Onslow Cole in second, then it's Stephen Kane in third place, Andrew Jordan in fourth position, then Rob Collard with Matt Jackson behind him, and Matt Jackson ahead of Colin Turkington on the road here. Remember, those two are still battling for the Independence Championship, but Turkington well placed if he just sits there with Jackson. And in the background, Plato picking off one or two more by the looks of things. He was 15th, I think he might have gained one.
Yeah, along the bottom straight, all in line, fortunately this time. Chilton with a good restart and a good opening lap. He's always been good on colder tyres and from the get-go, and he's pushing very hard.
So will the tyres last for him? The temperature's cooling a little bit, even though still got bright sunshine here at Brands Hatch. As the sun begins to dip, the temperatures cool very quickly. It's Chilton in front of Onslow Cole. 27 laps for this race now. We've had a few added as the safety car's been out there. Onslow Cole still chasing. Stephen Kane in the first of the BMWs. Then it's Andrew Jordan. He's ahead of Rob Collard. So still got quite a few BMs to watch out for, and they have been fast all day long here. So as the race progresses, those BMWs may come into the play with the top two, watching them down the hill. You can see Plato has moved up one. He's 14th. Giovanardi still going with him though, because he's up into 15th place.
Well, Jackson won the second race with maximum ballast and showed good pace all the way through, so no reason why he can't do well again. Here's Giovanardi closing up on Jason Hughes. Will he dive to the inside? Yes, he will. That's taking that tighter line through the first left-hand bit and slingshotting to the right, so he can break in a slightly straighter line. But of course, there's Plato in front. Every encouragement he needs to try and beat his rival in the last race of the year.
Yeah, these two great rivals over the last 2 years. Giovanardi has taken both titles. It's been close. It's always come down to the last few races. Well, the last race of last year, this time Giovanardi wrapped it up in the first race at the last meeting. But they are great rivals, but a good relationship between them. They have huge respect for one another as they head round the hairpin. Plato now in 13th place and Giovanardi in 14th, so they're not in the points yet, and they're being followed by the other Seat, interestingly, of Darren Turner. He's still in with a shout of scoring some points in this one.
Yeah, and up front, the first two just getting a little bit of a stretch on Stephen Kane at the moment. Onslow Cole, of course, battling to try and win BXR 888's, the team's 100th win.
Yeah, that would be quite something, wouldn't it, for Ian Harrison and the boys to take their 100th victory in the final race after they've taken the title for the drivers. They've already won the teams and the manufacturers championship this year. But if he's going to do that, Onslow Cole's going to have to find a way past Tom Chilton. Meanwhile, Giovanardi has just set the fastest lap, interestingly, on catching Plato. Look at these guys all bunching up. Adam Jones is in the middle of that little pack as well, and right behind him is Stephen Jelly. Those two had a great nice earlier. On board with Matt Jackson. He's sitting in 6th place, and he's right behind Rob Collard in the other BMW. The Motorbase car has had a great day so far and wants to finish off today in style. Up towards Clearways. This is where we've seen some manoeuvres, but Jackson's not going for the inside there.
No, Collard was just late enough on the brakes and just covering enough the inside to prevent a manoeuvre, and I think they're just going to wait a little bit, see how the tyres go off and see where they can be quicker. Of course, the BMWs, equally matched cars, both rear-wheel drive, both with the same layout and everything else. There's not going to be any big advantages either way.
Tom Chilton still leads this race, but only by just under half a second from Tom Onslow Cole, two of the younger drivers in the series. But of course, Chilton's been in the championship for a fair bit longer than Onslow Cole. Tom Onslow Cole's had some wins. He's had 2 wins with Vauxhall this year, and now he's chasing after that team, Halfords Honda. The Honda Type R Drivers Club have a huge display here at Brands Hatch. Some lovely looking cars up there, and they also had a parade at lunchtime. Well, it would make their day, wouldn't it, if they managed to get a win in the final round of the championship from Tom Chilton after that long drought of victories. But he's still got some work to do. Plato, meanwhile, in 13th place. Giovanardi close behind him, and they're both coming up on Mike Jordan.
Yeah, of course, it was in 2002 that Tom Chilton made his debut in the British Touring Car Championship and actually pipped me for 3rd place by punting me off at Druids on the last lap. So he knows his way around this circuit.
He certainly does, yes. I remember that very well. And he was a bit smart in those days, wasn't he? He thought he knew it all. Well, he's learnt a lot in the meantime, and really he does know a lot now. He's got to put it into practice this afternoon. Plato chasing after Mike Jordan. We think this could well be Mike Jordan's final race as a touring car driver. I think he's going to still be very involved, though, through the efforts of his son. And Mike, always a hard racer. He won't make it. Oh, Giovanardi's got up the inside of Plato. Right behind them, Giovanardi's dived up the inside. He's done a Matt Neal on Jason Plato. And remember, it broke the steering on Plato's car when it happened earlier.
Yeah, well, look at Plato down the straight. He's got the juice wound up on that turbo diesel, and Giovanardi fighting back into paddock. He try and get up the inside, but Plato will have enough speed up the hill to hold him off.
Yeah, that was very interesting, wasn't it? The Seat came back at him, but whether Giovanardi thought, oh, maybe it was a bit unrealistic, but I don't know. Darren Turner's right behind him now as well, so he's going to have to be very careful because the other Seat is right on his rear bumper.
Yeah, that certainly wasn't Giovanardi conceding the place back. It was just the horsepower of the Seat that got away from him.
So Giovanardi's going to have to try and do it again, but having surprised Plato once, will he do it again? No, he's not close enough this time, but he really uses that tight line. Little touch. Plato has to correct. You can see the opposite lock on, and the Vauxhall's still not quite there. Plato's able to shut him off.
Yeah, I think Giovanardi's playing with him a little bit, isn't he? Just sort of a little run into the back. Nothing too serious, nothing too aggressive, but just playing with him, really.
Good stuff. Final outing for the Seat team as a manufacturer team. I'm sure we'll still see plenty of Seats out there next year in private hands. It's a fast car, but as the Works team, this is their last outing, and they'll want to try and keep that pesky Giovanardi behind them, well, at least between them. Plato wants to stay ahead of him, and a wonderful show being put on. Adam Jones in the meanwhile with Stephen Jelly alongside, and there's contact a little bit between them. Did they get round? No, they didn't. Jones is in the barrier.
Or possibly a mirror image of the John George accident, I fear. Not as bad, fortunately. And meanwhile, Giovanardi and Plato side by side again.
He's got the inside line now, but look at the speed of the Seat. This diesel power just, again, powers him away from Giovanardi, and he's going to watch out now for Darren Turner trying to do likewise. Will he ever look down the inside into paddock? No, he won't. Patrizia, that's Fabrizio's wife, watching this and enjoying it, and this is turning into a real tussle. And they're not even fighting for points here, remember. They're not in the points yet. They're in 12th, 13th and 14th places.
Now that was interesting because Jelly ran very wide there and Jordan went through.
Yes, that's right. So now they've got Mike Jordan at the head of the queue. Giovanardi's getting alongside Plato. Here we go. On board with Giovanardi. He's going to have the inside line into Surtees. He's turning in, and he's got past Plato this time. But Plato will no doubt try and go. Oh, he's up the inside now, Giovanardi of Jelly, and he's done it. He's got past Jelly as well.
Yeah, that was good racecraft. Jelly obviously had a problem, and Giovanardi seized on the moment to pass in a place where Plato couldn't respond, and then got past Jelly very quickly. Oh, and is that Turner going past?
It is.
On the outside.
Plato seems to be struggling a bit. Maybe the bit of contact there has damaged the car, I'm not sure. But Turner has passed Plato. Plato can't seem to respond, so it may be that there is a little bit of damage there on Plato's car. We'll keep an eye out for that. Meanwhile, Jordan has got ahead in that little bit of a group. Tom Chilton still leads this race from Tom Onslow Cole in second place. Just take a look back at this.
Now this is the incident with Jones. Oh, and he's got contact. That was the contact with Jelly.
Yeah. Yeah, again, it was, as you say, very similar. Sort of the contact front bumper to rear bumper on that backstretch. And that's taken Jones out of the race, I'm afraid. Very, very good season he's had, but a sad way to end it. Chilton still leads this race. 20 laps have been completed out of 27. Matt Jackson is sitting in 6th place. Colin Turkington is now in 8th place, but he's only one position behind him in the Independents. And that means that Turkington is on target to win that Independents Championship for the 2nd year in a row. And that's really what he's looking for. But look at them. Jackson's right in the middle of this pack.
Yeah, Jackson, of course, still battling for potentially 2nd place in the championship, and if Plato's hobbled, that could be crucial.
It could be. He could end up taking 2nd place to Giovanardi, but Jackson right in the middle of that. Andrew Jordan is leading this little group in the Honda Integra. Then right behind him it is Rob Collard, and we're on board now with Matt Jackson behind Collard and with Andrew Jordan at the front of the queue.
Well, we've no onboard radio with Matt Jackson for this race. We did at Silverstone. We were on board with Giovanardi on the radio contact, but I'm sure Matt's got plenty to say to the team. He's always very vocal over the radio.
Yeah, look at that. Collard had a chance to close up a bit on Andrew Jordan. Andrew Jordan very defensive, as he has the right to be. He just takes the middle of the road, but they're all bunching up behind him. There's no doubt about it. These guys are potentially quicker, but they have to find a way past. And Andrew Jordan in his debut year has been so impressive. Several podium finishes to his name already, and he wants to hold on here. He's not on a podium spot, but it still would be a good result for him in 4th place at the moment as he sits, with Collard in 5th. Matt Jackson under a bit more pressure from Gordon Shedden, who wants to squeeze that Honda through, aware no doubt that his teammate is leading the race at the moment.
Yeah, but not comfortably, only by half a second. Chilton only has half a second gap over, it's less than that, 4/10 of a second over Onslow Cole.
Yeah, so it's not all over up front, and it's certainly not over in this battle yet either, as Andrew Jordan again was defensive. We're riding behind Shedden with Colin Turkington, and Turkington just trying to stay out of trouble here as Collard hits Jordan. There's a bit of a nudge, and he pushes him out wide. Andrew Jordan tries to cut back in here, doesn't want to lose more than one place, and now Collard's got that position, and Matt Jackson's trying to get past him as well.
Yeah, Jackson might have an overlap here. He's got it inside. He's going to have the inside turning into Sturties. That was Collard just pushing a little bit naughty, really, to push Jackson wide, and Shedden up the inside as well.
Shedden takes advantage. That's that inside line, and Andrew Jordan suddenly finding himself muscled down the field. He's got Stephen Jennings going to have to try and cover now, and that's where it can be a little bit wary, and he's lost that one too. So Andrew Jordan's lost about 5 places in one go there. He's down to 8th position, and he's still having to fight off Matt Neal. Oh, in the gravel, Collard and several others. That's Shedden, is it in the background? I couldn't quite spot. That's changed things. Now Colin Turkington suddenly gained several places.
Yeah, and I think that might have been Onslow Cole coming back onto the circuit. Now there's one of the Arcus cars pulled off. I guess he must have had a blown engine or something, and that's what the oil is.
Yeah, there's oil at Paddock Hill Bend, we gather from the teams. Oil at Paddock Hill Bend, which is causing problems. Giovanardi has got smoke trailing from his car. Giovanardi's in trouble. Smoke pouring off the Vauxhall. Safety car is coming out, and my goodness, this series is coming to another dramatic end.
Yeah, and I think it was Onslow Cole that went off. We saw him. He's back to 3rd place. Stephen Kane up to 2nd. Giovanardi with some serious damage on the front there. Very dangerous Paddock Hill bit. Well, that looks more than a little bit of bodywork rubbing. I think that might have to be a retirement.
Well, we're into the closing stage of the race. We're on lap 25 out of 27. Will the race finish under safety car? It's quite possible now. We've got Chilton leading. Stephen Kane has taken advantage of that mishap from Onslow Cole. Let's see if we can find out what happened.
That's Onslow Cole that's gone off initially, and then you've got Collard going off as well.
And that was on the oil of somebody, wasn't
it?
Yeah,
and somebody else went off and drew it. Look, they're all going off. Oh, there's contact at the back as well. Oh,
I think that was what did the damage to Giovanardi.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Giovanardi and Jordan made contact on the oil as they went through. Ooh. And that's, as a result, yeah, it was Andrew Jordan that he hit.
That's the oil going down. Martin Bell dropping the oil. The engine's blown up. In the background, you can see them starting to go. If the camera stays there, they'll all fly off.
Oh, that is horrible. Coming through Paddock Hill Bend, one of the most daunting corners anywhere in the country.
Yeah,
to find oil.
And the oil went not on the entry to the corner, but halfway through it. So they had absolutely no chance to miss it. The safety car is obviously going to stay out. This race will end under the safety car, and it will be Tom Chilton's win.
Well, it looks that way, you have to say, at the moment. Just under 2 laps to go, and Tom Chilton sitting pretty at the front of the field, and it could well be victory for Tom Chilton. And what a wonderful way for Tom to finish the season by taking victory here. For Giovanardi, of course, what a strange way to finish the championship, but he took the title earlier on, and so everything should be okay for him. We'll see if we can get a quick word with him, if we can. This is Ben in the commentary box to Fabrizio. Fabrizio, what a very strange race, and what about the oil at Paddock Hill Bend?
It's incredible because there was no advice about the oil, so 5 cars just came in the corner flat out, normally is, and we slept on the oil. We came over all in the gravel. We couldn't see anything. In the camera you can see it was impossible, like a fog. Anyway, yeah, my race was pretty good, but start from the back, I couldn't make better. I had a good fun with Jason couple of times, so it's okay. It's finished.
Yeah, we noticed your fun with Plato. You two have a great rivalry, don't you?
Yeah, it's true. Thank you.
Well, Tom Chilton brings the cars in. The red flag, well, not the red flag, but the race has been brought to a conclusion. And it is Tom Chilton, therefore, who takes the final win of the 2008 season. His first victory in over 3 years. And that is just wonderful. His last victory was in a Honda. It was when he was with the Arena team in 2005. And it was in September of 2005, so 3 years down the road, Tom Chilton has done what we've expected him to do so many times. But Tim, good result, and he deserved it.
He did deserve it. He made a great start. He led from the front. He knew it was a good opportunity. Don't forget, it started third, made a brilliant start, and led every lap of the race. Didn't go off himself on the oil. Onslow Cole did. A well-controlled drive. He is good. Look at the elation there. Fantastic. Oh, he's going to dent the roof. Well done, Tom. Great drive.
Fantastic stuff from Tom. It's the third win for Team Halfords this year, and after what was a tough time, particularly at Silverstone, that really is tremendous reward to the team who put in so much work. So Chilton wins it. Stephen Kane, a superb second as well, taking advantage of Onslow Cole's mishap on the oil at the end there. Matt Jackson takes 4th place, but with Colin Turkington 5th right behind him, that should be enough for Turkington to win the independents. Collard in 6th, Andrew Jordan in 7th, Matt Neal in 8th, then Gordon Shedden in the top 10 there as well, and Mike Jordan, what we think should probably be his final race as a driver, in 10th place in the points once again. And outside of the points is Giovanardi. Unfortunately, Fabrizio Giovanardi just outside the points, finishing in 11th with Turner behind him, just in 12th place. So that's how the final result of the year looks, and a tremendous performance from Tom Chilton. Really all about the start. He got off the line absolutely perfectly, and from then on in, he controlled the race, and when they fell off on the oil, he didn't, which was pretty crucial, really.
Well, we predicted it could be an interesting final race. It usually is, and it didn't disappoint for lots of reasons. There was some great racing within that. Stephen Kane, another podium for Motorbase this weekend. Brilliant team ending to this weekend, and they will go into next year with huge confidence, I'm sure.
Yeah, and with the performance of the independents here this weekend at Brands, you have to say those independents are every bit as competitive as the works teams, and it's such an open championship, isn't it?
And that's what's great about the British Touring Car Championship. It's open to anyone. But look, Ted is actually down with our race winner, Tom Chilton.
Yes, and nice to see he's actually genuinely stoked about it. What were you about to do?
Do what?
You're about to go like that.
Incredible Hulk, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that has been a long, long time. Oh, it's been
3 years.
Yeah, I've had a million podiums, I swear, and every time I'm leading the race, I've had punches, gearboxes, engines, like someone hit me off. And finally, I strung it together. And even then, I saw the oil flag, slippery flag means oil or gravel or whatever. I went extra careful. I think I might have even gone down an extra gear just to make sure I wasn't coming off. And I saw Tom go off, and he obviously gave it the big push. And, that's where it paid off for me to back off then.
I mean, it's obviously meant so much to you. You're quite a tall chap, but to get up on top of that Honda Civic's a fair dude.
It was actually. I've been dreaming so much about winning. I was thinking, what am I going to do? I'm going to stand on the roof, and I finally did it. And I've done a lot of racing. I've done 185 race starts in the British touring cars, and for some reason, the last 3 years, I might have been at pretty much every race weekend, the top 3 fastest, but not had a win. I keep getting second, third, second. Finally got the win. It just feels so good. It's just like lift that sort of devil off your shoulder, flick it off.
And you're our 9th different race winner from this year, which really shows, how open it is. If it's your day, you can win whatever car you're in.
Yeah, this is the hardest year out of this. Is the end of my 7th year in it. This is the hardest I've ever known it in the championship. I love it. That's why I do this championship, because it's so close. It's nose to bum for every lap, and you're literally just fingertips on the wheel. And if you just get that fingertip slightly wrong, you can lose 3 car lengths here around Brands Hatch, and that's what Stephen Jelly was saying earlier on. Yeah. That's why touring cars are so hard, and I enjoy it. And when you win, it feels so damn good.
Okay, listen, Tom, very well done. Congratulations. We will let you go. We'll let you go. Hey, we might as well do the whole thing. And Bo, there we go. Okay, we'll let you go to the podium. Let's take a look at the final standings then, and we've got. Here we go, we'll just come up here. Of course we know Fabrizio Giovanardi has won that, but Matt Jackson moves into second place. That is the big mover, and what a surprise. We wouldn't have thought that would have happened at the beginning of the weekend, but he had such a strong race, and the BMW's showing such great pace around Brands Hatch. Let's take a look at the Independence Championship, and even though Matt Jackson is up to second overall, he loses out to Colin Turkington by 10 points. Adam Jones is third. Stephen Kane, well done to him, another podium today, and Rob Collard fifth. Okay, let's go down to Janie.
Well, Matt, you came here in fourth position overall, and you're finishing in second.
What a result! You know, it's great for BMW Dealer Team UK and Accident Exchange. It's it's a fantastic result, and we started the season well, and I think we left Brands Hatch at the start of the year in second, and well, we'll be leaving today in second, which is when it matters.
But when you arrived here at Brands for the final round, did you think that you could make such a big impact?
No, not at all. I mean, third place, Colin was in third, and we thought, okay, yeah, third place is realistic, but second place relied on Jason not scoring many points at all, and well, he didn't, so it went in our favour for once.
And obviously the series has been, well, so much going on, action-packed all the time. What about that race in particular?
It was a difficult race, obviously, with full ballast, 45 kilos of ballast inside the car, and then drawing number 8 was always going to be difficult, but it was really that race we just had to shadow Colin, and I know that if we stayed on the circuit, and we got a good start, so that was fantastic. And we knew going into this, we said, keep an eye on Jason just as an outside bet, but he didn't come through, picked up some damage, I think, and well, it went in our favour.
So second overall, does that mean more to you than if you had have won the independent title?
Obviously it'd be nice to win both, but the independents relied on Colin having a lot of bad luck this weekend, and it was something that we probably couldn't, we had no control of. So to come away with second is, I'm chuffed.
Can you tell us what your plans are for next year?
At the moment it's hopefully be British touring cars, but we'll have to wait and see.
Just before we move on and talk to the independent champion, let's have a look at John George's crash. Can you just tell us, from a racer's point of view, what's going through your mind when you see something like this?
It's obviously not a nice shunt. It's a big old hit into the barriers, and it's always, I think, the start of the year, Tom Onzo Cole had a similar kind of shunt, just that the consequences weren't so bad as that. Is John okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
Good.
Good. Okay, thank you very much, Matt, and congratulations on your second place. Firm handshake there. Colin, well done, independent champion. That's what you wanted to walk away with, and that's what you've got.
Yeah, I'm really happy. That was the priority for the weekend, to retain that title. And I'm so pleased for everybody at Team RAC. Coming in 22 points ahead is a nice cushion, but Matt was flying today, so we just had to really keep it steady and not let him get too far away. So I'm absolutely thrilled.
I asked you earlier on, and you said it was a tough race.
Yeah, it was a very tough race. All 3 races have been really hard. In the back of my mind, the thing that's there is, I've got to finish and win this championship. So, you don't want to take too many risky manoeuvres, and those last few laps there were very, very tough. So I'm just really happy for all my guys at Team RAC.
Well, no doubt you're going to have a few beers tonight. Can you give us any hints as to what you're doing next year?
Not yet. This is my last race at the moment with Team RAC. Hopefully we'll be back and do it again next year. So, it's been a great season. I've finished higher than I did last year in the Drivers' Championship, and again to retain the title is perfect.
Okay, well done. Congratulations. Back to you, Ted.
Thanks very much, Janie. Okay, we've got some housekeeping to do. We know Fabrizio Giovanardi has won the Drivers' Championship, and Matt Jackson second in that. We've just seen that. But let's have a look at the Manufacturers' Championship. Well, we knew it was sorted out before we even got here, but look at that margin. That's incredible. Vauxhall 658 over Seat 512, and Seat will reflect they've had a good innings, even though they didn't manage to win that. Let's take a look at the Teams Championship, and this is the one that they really care about. It's just like the constructors in Formula 1. VX Racing win that, even though they were short of their 100th win for AAA Engineering. They win that by 537 points from Seat Sport UK 328. Team Halford's a third with 241. Team RAC fourth. The BMW Dealer Team UK have done very well to finish fifth, and Motorbase sixth. Team RAC have won the Independence Manufacturers title, but Janie is down in the pits with Dick Bennett from West Surrey Racing.
Certainly, in fact, I've got 2 handsome chaps here, both title holders. First of all, Andy, Manufacturers, Teams and Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, fantastic season. You know, when we start the year, we've got the objective of winning all 3 trophies, but to actually do it in such a competitive series, you know, for the first time since 2004, great achievement by the team.
I was just going to ask you, how significant is it for you to be involved in such a competitive championship?
It's very important. You know, we want to race against the best and beat the best. So to win the manufacturers is job one, but to win the team and drivers as well. It's a great tribute to the 888 team led by H, all the drivers, Fabrizio, Matt and Neil, and the Vauxhall support team that helped the team. You know, they should all feel very proud this evening.
I'm sure they are, and looking forward as well. How strong is your commitment to the British Touring Car Championship?
We've been committed to the BTCC for a long while. You know, this is the 8th time we've won the Manufacturers' Championship. We love taking part. We want Vauxhalls to be in there next year. We want some great teams to be up against so we can beat them again.
I love that confidence. Dick, I know you're confident as well. I mean, this is the 2nd year you've won the Independence Championship. What does it mean to you?
Oh, it's fantastic for the whole team again, WSR and Team RAC. Colin's done a storming job. You know, I set a tough target. I wanted to be 3rd overall, but at the end of the day, we said to about 6 people who was 3rd last year, and no one knew. So it's not that important. So the biggest thing was to lift the independents, teams and drivers again for the 2nd year. So you know, to have the BMW's a very good car for a private team, and it's, you know, it's good and reliable, and you know, it's fantastic for everyone because it is hard work. Because you know, we like to try and chip away and beat the works guys every now and then, but it's, you know, it's our budget's much smaller, but we're happy to, you know, be in there doing what we're doing. We, you know, we love it.
Thank you very much. Congratulations to both of you. Back to you, Ted.
Nice one, Jamie. OK, we're going to be wrapping up all the action and the reaction after the break, but it's been a great day for Fabrizio Giovanardi, a great day for Vauxhall as well, and we will see them lift their championship trophies in a few minutes' time. Tom Chilton has won race 3 of the day here at Brands Hatch, but Fabrizio Giovanardi has won the 2008 British Touring Car Championship, a win that gives him his 9th touring car title across European competitions. And we can join Master of Ceremonies Alan Hyde for the final trophy presentation.
We've got a fabulous crowd down here. Let's have a big cheer from the crowd for the champions podium for the 2008 HiQ MSA British Touring Car Championship. Let's, in order to get the presentation underway, get the series director of the British Touring Car Championship onto the podium, Mr. Alan Gow, to the far end of the podium. And the first award that he will give out will be to the 2008 Winning Independent Teams Championship. And the winners are Team RAC. To represent them, Dick Bennett and Kerry Gazzard on behalf of the RAC. And Alan Gow is about to make the presentation. Up gets Kerry, and up gets Dick as well from Team RAC. A kiss on the cheek and a manly handshake to Dick Bennett. Well done to Team RAC, the 2008 Independent Teams Champions. And a very happy Dick Bennett and Kerry Gazzard make their way off the podium, because the next award that we will present for 2008 will be to the winning independent champion. It's Colin Turkington. Team RAC driver gets congratulated by Dick Bennett, the team boss, and is about to receive the award from the series director, Alan Gow, on the top step of the podium. Colin Turkington. Well done to Colin. And a huge smile on his face as well. Makes his way off the podium. And the next award that we will give out for the 2008 championship is the team champions for 2008. The winners are VX Racing. To represent them, Alex Somerset, Fabrizio Giovanardi's chief engineer. And Alan Gow congratulates him and holds the trophy high for the huge crowd that we have here in the sunshine. The next award on the champions podium are the winning manufacturers, the champions of Vauxhall. To represent them, Andy Gilson, the marketing director of Vauxhall Motors. And Alan Gow presents the trophy once again to Vauxhall, holds it high in the sunshine of Brands Hatch. And what a wonderful way to finish the season, the manufacturers' champions of Vauxhall. and the champion for the second year running of the 2008 HiQ MSA British Touring Car Championship, Fabrizio Giovanardi. And the very happy Italian climbs onto the top step of and Alan Gow presents the 2008 championship in the HiQ MSA British Touring Car Champion. Fab Fabrizio about to spray the champagne, a huge crowd. Alan Gow has been a hasty retreat, and that's the podium shot of the champion for the 2008 championship.